England, Manchester United legend, Derby manager. Gives me great pleasure to say good afternoon, Wayne Rooney. How are you, Wayne?
Hi mate, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Good.
What's happening?
Can I ask you, do I call you Sir Wayne, Mr. Rooney, Wazza? What do I call you?
Just call me what you want, mate. I'm okay.
Okay, Sir seems the right thing to do with your list of achievements, obviously me being a United fan. Firstly, how are you? I know it's been a busy day. You've been talking about your documentary, which we'll talk about
assistant coach, he contacted me at the time and asked me about Richard Kitzbichler, and they've been working together now for 3 or 4 years. Doing a great job, both of them, but it doesn't help. We need the 3 points tomorrow, and this is what it's all about.
Simon Stone.
Hi, Ralph. Hope you're okay. Just on Tuesday's performance, have you worked out yet how to get the best out of Ronaldo? He just seems to be in a period where he's maybe not affecting games in the way that he would want and maybe you would want.
Yeah, but it's not only about Cristiano Ronaldo. I mean, that we should score more goals is obvious. I think we are creating enough chances and enough opportunities in the last couple of games, but we just didn't score enough goals. But this is not only an issue with Cristiano, it's also an issue with all the other players, especially with the offensive players, that we do not score enough goals if you bear in mind how many chances we create. And this is also something that needs to get better in the next couple of weeks. But as I said, what we played in both first halves and even at Burnley, I would say in 70 of those 90 minutes was really very, very, very close to the game plan that we had spoken about before the game. And now it's about rewarding ourselves and getting also the results that we should have deserved.
Simon Peach.
Hi, Ralph. Just wondering how the squad's looking ahead of the game in terms of absentees and things like that. And obviously there's been a lot of talk about Harry Maguire and his performances. What do you think of the state of your captain and his displays at the moment?
Well, I think he had an outstanding game against West Ham, like all the rest of our backline. Against Middlesbrough, we didn't give away that many chances to the other team. And at Burnley, yes, we could have defended that transitional moment better than we did. But in the end, it was a negative chain reaction, like in most goals that teams concede. We had a brilliant counter-attack ourselves. Didn't play the first pass, was not the best one, but even then it was still a 2v2 or 3v3 situation, and we should have got more out of that. And then our rest defense was not really good. We should have not allowed this counter-attack to happen. We were not marking the connecting players well enough and high enough. And also we didn't defend it at the end. When Weghorst got the ball, we were 2 versus 1. It was Harry and Scotty against him. And of course we shouldn't allowed him to go through that in that very moment. But that can happen. As I said, Harry was injured. He had a 2.5 weeks injury, came then back and had a very good game against West Ham. And I'm pretty sure that he can perform on the same kind of level tomorrow against Southampton.
Jamie Way.
Good afternoon, Ralph. There are reports this morning that the players aren't enjoying your training sessions. They find them outdated, that they're calling Chris Armas Ted Lasso behind his back. What do you make of all that?
Nothing, to be honest. I haven't read any newspapers and don't know about those articles. What I can assure you is that the training is, the way that the team has developed in the last couple of weeks is obvious tactically, and this is due to the work that we've been doing in training, both on the pitch, but also if we do the video analysis with them, and the training that we are doing, including all the important training games and the little games as well as the 11v11 games, and we did a lot of rondos, a lot of those little games to increase fluidity and get better in possession of the ball is part of the training sessions.
Andy Mitten.
Hello, Ralph. How can you get your team to play in the second half or towards the end of the game like they've been playing in the first half? Is that something for the training ground? Is that about what you say to them at half time? Is it part of the larger game plan?
Well, to start with, I think it's important, and I think the players have also realized that there has been a good development in the last couple of weeks, both in possession and in out of possession of the ball. They realized that we controlled the game. But then again, if we concede a goal against Middlesbrough, it was after 65, 70 minutes, and at Burnley after 47 minutes, we should just stick to the game plan and not all of a sudden lose shape, lose composure. And this was, this was the most harmful part of it, that we just didn't stick to that game plan. We all of a sudden we didn't have the same positioning on the pitch. Our 2/8s were too far outside and no longer in the center of the pitch. And this is what we spoke about yesterday and the day before yesterday when we analyzed the Burnley game. And this is what we have to do better. I mean, hopefully, if we have in the upcoming games the same amount of opportunities, we score more than one goal. This is one issue, that we have to be more effective. But at the same time, even if that does not happen and the other team scores a goal, that can happen in football, we still have to be aware why we were so dominant and why we were so much in control of the game in the first half, and then stick to that and not all of a sudden lose composure, lose structure and lose shape. And this was obvious for some 15, 20 minutes against Burnley. It got better then at the end of the game when we had more control once again. But in those 15 minutes, we lost that shape.
Michael Gray.
Hi, Ralph. Ralph, you've now been in charge for 12 games. Has it taken longer than you thought for the squad in the starting 11 to adapt to the way that you want to play, the style of football?
No, I was fully aware that this will be a process and it would take some time. But as I said, apart from the last two games, with regard to the result of those two games, I think we did well. The development is obvious. And even in those two games, I think, had anyone told me before the game, would you have, and shown me the first two halves, would you have thought that we could create that many chances in possession of the ball? I would have said, well, I would be more than happy if those two halves were as they were. And now it's about developing, taking the next step, and playing on that kind of level for a longer period of time, if possible, for the whole game. And as I said, in football, it's about getting the reward, getting the best result out of it. And in fact, in those two games, this was the only thing that I could fault us and the team for.
Well, last two in this section to Simon Peach and the last one for Simon Stone.
All right, return to Southampton. Manchester United's issues with set pieces as well documented, both attacking and defending. Do you think that could be key to the game tomorrow with James Ward-Prowse, obviously one of the best set piece takers in the country?
Yes, obviously, but we haven't conceded that many goals. As far as I know, in the last 10 weeks, we didn't concede a single goal from set pieces. I thought we had scored a goal from a set piece at Burnley, but unfortunately it was disallowed by the VAR. Of course, we are also working on that and hopefully can score ourselves after set pieces. But when you mentioned Ward-Prowse, I think you were more referring to not conceding any goals. And I think the way that we have defended the set pieces in the last weeks and months has been good.
Simon Stone.
Hi, Ralph. You say that you're making progress and you're quite sure about that, but obviously you've only won half of the games that you've been here for. Given the amount that has been spent on this squad, are you surprised that you're having to make as much ground up as you seem to have to for the team to be competitive? You seem to be coming from quite a low base.
That was a good question, and you have put that question in a very smart and clever way. I know that what you are aiming at, but I can only tell you what I have experienced in the last 10 weeks. And I think the results so far in the league have been okay. I would even say they were good had we won at Burnley. And now it's about, as I said, getting also the results and not only improving with regard to the performance, but also getting the results that we should have deserved. And I think we all agree that we should have deserved to win both games. But in the end, it's not about deserving. It's about what you get and what you get out of the game. That the team has developed is obvious. Even the players are, and I speak regularly to the players about how they feel after the game, how they felt on the pitch. And I know that the players realize themselves how much they have developed and improved their performance, especially also in possession of the ball when we controlled the game. as I said, but now it's about taking the next step and getting the reward and also perform on a higher level in the second half.
A very good evening, everybody. Well, James Ward-Prowse leads Southampton out. He scored against Spurs in the home game.
And here we are at one of the great venues for football anywhere in the world, Old Trafford in Manchester. My name is Derek Ray, excited to be bringing you match commentary, and alongside me, my broadcast partner, Stuart Robson. And we've got Premier League action coming right up. It's Manchester United, and they take on Southampton.
Well, thanks, Derek, as always. The scene is set, two good teams, a great playing surface and a vibrant atmosphere. It has all the ingredients for a really exciting game.
Che Adams. Body in the way. Really getting stuck in. Well, that's a foul, and it sets up a free kick in a dangerous position. Well, he tried to get it to dip right at the end of its flight.
Well, it's great technique. He strikes it so cleanly, but it just doesn't come down in time.